Hello, youths, wherever you are. I know you are tuned in for this exciting show. We are so happy that God has kept us. God has taken care of us all through the week, and we are here again. I'm so excited because I know there is something new again for you today, and I know you're going to be blessed. So please call your friends. Call your friends wherever they are. Make sure they are here. They are tuned in to this show. It is your show. Youth, it is your show. Wherever you are, please don't miss this show. Call your friend, tell a friend, remind a friend, just share on your timeline. There's no cost after all. Just sharing on your timeline, please. Just click that share button on your timeline. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and you subscribe to this channel and you ring the bell so that it can be reminding you each and every time we are live. So welcome to the show. My name is Ruth Sifa, and I am passionate about youth. I'm just sold out to the youth, and that is why I opt to have such a show specifically set for the youths. So please call a youth. And a youth, you can be a youth, at age, that is 18 to 35. Or you can be a youth at heart like me. You never grow old. You just have passion for the youth. So this, for some few weeks now, we have been talking about empowerment. Until somebody is it that there is no other anything else to talk about? But it is because we want, first of all, to empower you. To empower you, to develop you, to equip you with the necessary information that you need so that you can have a change of story in your life, a change of you change the quality of your life. Yes, most of us, we are living, but the quality of our life is what we are talking about. And we know there's something you can do about that situation. There is something you can do about yourself and change the situation around you. You cannot choose where you are born, but you can choose your future. You can choose where you will want to be in the future. And it all depends on your decisions and of what we are talking now, empowerment. So we are talking about personal empowerment. Don't wait to be empowered by someone else. Yes, the government, the church, anybody else might be striving to empower you, but we want you to learn how to empower yourself. And that is what we are talking about tonight. What are the qualities that you need as a youth to empower yourself? We have talked about self-control. Last week we talked about self-control, and this week we are taking over again from there. And I know you'll be blessed. My guests are here as usual. Let me add them here on the screen. Hi, Samson.
Hi, Ruth. It's a pleasure to be back again.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the show. Hi, Bernard. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy to see you tonight, and I know we are loaded.
Thank you.
Yes, hi Enoch, as usual. Your signature must be here every Saturday.
I take that as a compliment. How are you today, Ruth?
I'm doing fine, and I'm so much excited to see all of you. I know all of us, we are of good health, and God has kept us. So
I'm also
welcome to the
happy.
show.
I'm also happy to see
Yes.
these gentlemen back here on the show. I think they must have had that very long week.
Yeah, thank you.
It's good to see you guys again.
Yeah.
Good to see you too.
And we are personally, we are so excited. Me personally, and I think you're also happy to see me. Can you compliment me?
Yes, of course. I miss you guys.
Thank you for the energy. No.
Yeah. So please, viewers, wherever you are watching us from, please let us know where you are watching us from. And as we say today, we are talking about personal empowerment qualities or attributes. And if you have not watched from the beginning, please make sure you bring we have put in the comment box on the description below the previous episodes. So after this show, you can go back and just watch and know where you missed it out. So Samson, can you pray for us as we start the show?
Okay, let us pray. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we come before your presence tonight. We thank you, bless you for this opportunity that are granted us. Thank you for the moment to share, to reach out to the young people and give them the tools and build their capacity to enable them to reach their potential and to live a life that we designed for them. I commit every one of us, the panelists, our host, King of Glory, and our viewers before your presence. May this show tonight be a blessing to everyone who is going to listen and to view us. We bless you, worship, and when we come to the end of the show, we shall thank and exalt your holy name. In Jesus' name, we give thanks.
Amen. Yeah, so welcome to the show, and tonight I want somebody just to ask anybody a question. Today I'm just giving you 5 minutes, 40 seconds. You just ask somebody a question, but not me, please. So Enoch, you're asking who? You're asking who a question?
I was about to say the bespectacled gentleman, but you all have glasses. So I think I'll start with let me ask Bernard.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, go ahead and ask him.
Okay, good evening, Bernard.
Good evening to you, Enoch. Glad to see you again.
I can't hear you.
I'm actually very happy that you're here. And having been given the opportunity to ask you a question, I think it will make a lot of sense if I asked you, where were you last week?
Yes, you have, Bernard, you have 40 seconds to answer that.
Yeah, we normally say as a man, you have to live like a soldier. When the call of duty comes, you have to step out. I had an impromptu traveling to Nairobi, and I arrived very late, so I couldn't join you guys. I missed you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so Bernard, who are you asking a question? And please do.
I'll ask back to Enoch. What is your greatest inspiration? in life?
Come again. I didn't get you right.
Yeah, what is your greatest inspiration? Because as I look at you, you are a very great inspiration to many. What really drives you?
My name. My name is my greatest inspiration. I thank my parents for giving me a biblical name, and I read every time in the book of Genesis and also in the book of Jude, and I find that the story of Enoch is not a very long one, but it is very direct. It says that Enoch walked with God all the days of his life. And in the book of Jude, it says that Enoch condemned his generation by his righteousness. When the world was filled with violence just before the days of Noah, when the flood came upon the earth, Enoch was an exception. And having been given that big name, and having been given those huge shoes, I strive to fit in them. I strive to be the exception in my generation. I strive to be the difference in this time, so that I can walk with God all the days of my life. And I know, as Jesus says in Matthew 6:33, that seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. By walking right with God, everything else will go right with me.
Today your network is really...
I will log off and then I'll log in again.
Your network is really doing us wonders. Okay, Susie, I can't see your face. I want you to ask Samson a question. Where are you? Susie, can you hear me? Okay, so Bernard, ask Samson a question.
Yeah, thank you. Samson.
Yes, Bernard.
Which school did you go, and what was your greatest experience?
Sorry, which?
Which school did you attend, and what was your greatest experience that you still remember today?
I think that's a question that I have so many experiences that I remember to date. But one, I want to start by saying I attended first of all a primary school in the village. It's called Lembene Primary School in the remotest part of Meru County, that is, of course. And for 9 years I was there. That's class 1 to 8 plus the nursery 1 year. And from there again, I went to a village secondary school. It's not really a village secondary school, but it's a big secondary school in the village. So in essence, I was born in the village, grew up in the village, but I thank God at least He changed things. I'm not going to die in the village. So I think my greatest, I will tell people it was, it could have been funny if I was ever gone to Meru University, because it's also close to my village. So I could have ended up being a village boy, educated boy. So from village to village, back to the village. So I think one of the experiences I remember to date is my first day in high school. I went to high school a bit late because of there were some fees challenges and when God provided, I joined high school in second term. And so I went to school on a Wednesday, and then on a Thursday morning, the first lesson was a biology lesson. And the teachers to teach biology really monopolized me a lot, because when you walked into class, I'm the newest student in the class with a book without a name, and he walks in and says, what's your name? I says, I'm Samson. And then he's like, you have only one name, like a pistol. So I was like, there's a teacher, what is it? So the next thing he says, what's your name? I says, I'm Samson Mugathe. And he says, you have only two names, like a Ladrova. So, it was, and from that very moment, it was like, stand up, step on your seat. I mean, napanda juu ya kiti, and tell the rest of the class who you are. So, and it's my first day in class. I'm the newest student. The rest have been there for a whole term plus. And at the end of the day, I hated biology with passion at the start. But we made friends and became good friends by the time I was leaving the school.
Yeah, great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is awesome, and it is a good experience.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I just want you to take another 40 minutes and just you just say the
40
idea, a
seconds.
business idea. Yes, a business idea that is on your mind. Yeah, just say all of them. If it is charcoal selling, sugarcane selling, anything that will come on your mind, I will time you. When I carry up my hand, just know 40 seconds is over. Okay, we are starting now.
Any business idea. So many of
Yes, that
them.
will come on your mind. Yes, several.
Yes.
For 40
Of course, being
seconds.
another one of them is writing a new book. That's a business idea for me. Secondly, starting up a training. I'm setting up something for training people in public speaking. That's another one. Other business ideas could be selling eggs, selling charcoal, as you have said, selling timber. Of course, I think big even selling gold is a business idea. Selling diamonds, and what else? Selling water. I think I'm running out of ideas. Selling cars, selling houses. Cooking, it can be a business idea. Ironing clothes, training people, coaching people. Those are related to my field. I think what else? You can do a lot. Your passion, you can turn it into a business idea. And
Yes. It's over. Your 40 minutes is over. Okay. Bernard, your 40 minutes starts now.
40
Yeah,
seconds.
there are a lot of business ideas you can take depending on your passion and the resources at your stake. Most of the ideas do not need that you must have money. You can start small. You can start rearing chicken. Currently, you can buy chicken at a chick at 100 shillings, and in 2 months you are selling a grown-up chick at around 500, making a cool profit of 400. And if you have, let's say, 100 chicks, you can make a cool 200,000, 100,000 within 3 months. Quite a good business opportunity. From Western, we have a lot of sugarcane. You can also blend sugarcane juice and sell. It has a lot of medicinal, benefits. You can also, if you are a sportsman, you can be a part-time coach. You coach people how to play, how to, benefit from various sports which you are good at. You can also farm, plant vegetable. Not necessarily that you must have land. You can hire a piece of land. And the good thing with vegetable, you can charge a small place, and you are able to produce vegetable worth millions. So
40
those are
minutes
among the
are
things.
over, sir.
Thank you.
They are good ideas. Enoch, 40 minutes starts now. Not 40 minutes, 40 seconds. Sorry, 40 seconds.
Oh, I am
Able to
happy that
move.
you remembered it is 40. I am happy that you remembered it is 40 seconds when it came to me. You've been saying 40 minutes to Samson, 40 minutes to Ben.
Oh my
For me, it is
goodness.
40 seconds.
It is 40
This is
seconds.
nice.
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. I'll first of all go back to what Samson mentioned earlier. I don't know whether he was serious about it. Gold mining is a very serious business. Africa has huge deposits. Even Kenya has huge deposits that are completely people have not done a lot of work to discover where it is and then to bring it out. So gold mining is a huge business. Today, gold is fetching $1,900 and something dollars per ounce. Just 1 year ago, it was it was $1,200. So you can see there's an increase of more than $700 per ounce, and so gold is a big business. When the shilling fails, when currency fails, gold will always stand out. So gold is a good business. Secondly, I would go into energy generation. Africa is energy deficient. We have people who are still using firewood, and I have a passion for the environment. And I think that if we continue to cut down all the trees so that we can continue to cook, at the end of the day, we will have no more trees. And how are we going to cook our food? And so I think that we need to begin to do something that is more sustainable. And by that, I mean going into energy production. I am currently working on something on producing energy from waste, both domestic, commercial, industrial, and institutional waste. We can generate a lot of energy, both gas and direct electric current, just from waste. And so we have a lot of waste. Africa has been a dumping ground for the rest of the world, especially the West. And if we convert that waste into energy generation, we will create a lot of employment, we will create a lot of energy, and energy costs will go down. And once the energy costs go down because we are producing enough, then obviously the cost of life will also go down because our economy is energy dependent. If we reduce the cost of energy because we're producing more, then obviously everything will go down, including the price of food and stuff like that. So I look at that as my way of dealing with climate change. If we use what we have, if we deal with waste, we get rid of the waste that is all over our.
40 seconds.
Thank you. But I think you got the concept.
Yeah, I've got the concept.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your 40 seconds starts now. Business ideas.
Hi, team. Great
Hello.
to be here. Thanks, Ruth. Yeah, Corona has taught me a lot of business ideas. One of them is being an errand person. And by being an errand person is there are people who are busy. So someone wants to go to the bank, someone wants a parcel picked, someone wants to go to the market and get fruits. So if you are an errand person, you can make money easily. And this is something the youths can adopt because they have a lot of free time. Secondly, making sanitizers and hand wash detergent. Let me tell you, the resources you use to make the detergent they are normally sold at 400 bob. You get to make 15 liters of detergent. If you are selling 500 ml at 60 bob, that's money. And you can put different colors. You can put orange, you can put blue, you can put green, just to make your soap, your detergent to sell. Another thing, if you love driving like me, you can be a cab girl. Oh my, I got late because I was on an errand somewhere. I love driving. So when people want to go somewhere, they tell me, please drop me to Nakuru, please do this, and you make money out of it. And then lastly, if you are an information scientist like me, you can sell information to people. We are living at a time where we have a lot of information overflow, and sometimes people don't know what they want. So if you are good at your work and you're good at, like, someone just gives you a topic, they tell you, I have a presentation to do in a week's time, get me information on something. You do a speech, you do a document, you do a letter, you make your own money. Lastly, selling stuff online. This business is so cheap, you don't need any capital. What you do, you just become a broker. I have a friend who imports things. I just post them on my status, and then people they're like, oh, I've seen you with this and this. How can I get it? You just ask them, where are you? You're in Bungoma, parcel, M-Pesa, and you make your commission. Of course, unaongezea zako za macho.
You're hearing these other
Nimekuona.
viewing.
Hata macho yangu imekuona wewe Suzi wewe.
So that day,
Yeah, it is business. Yeah, it is business.
there was a day I didn't leave my house. It was raining cats and dogs just during the corona season. And I made 5,000. My daughter was like, hey, mommy, when I'm normal. And we were just selling a dry cleaning machine. You know, people have sofa set, carpets, and what. So my friend told me, I've shipped these things from China and I have them. I put the pictures on my status. And my friends were asking me, how can I get this? That thing was going for 4,500. I was selling it at 5,500. I sold to 5 people. And I got 5,000 while where I'm seated right now. I just made money. So there are so many ways of making money and enjoying it.
Wow. Yes, youth, you have heard there are business ideas here. These people are loaded with business ideas, and we are selling them out for free to you today, tonight. So take one, the one that you resonate with, the one that you feel it is comfortable with you, and we will take it. So our show begins now, and tonight we are talking about personal empowerment, personality, not personalities, but qualities. So I want to start with Samson. Samson, just maybe you just highlight to us some of the qualities that you feel the youths need to have for them to be empowered. And then you just measure on the ones that you have prepared to share with them. Please take it away.
Okay, thank you very much, Ruth, for this opportunity. I want to start by first saying we have already discussed a lot, and like you said at the start, for people who are just maybe joining us today or getting to hear us today for the first time, kindly check out for the previous days and previous sessions, because there's a lot of information or a lot of content that has been shared out by the panelists that is likely or can really boost you in one or the other. So today talking about personal empowerment, and I also believe this one goes beyond the youth, because what I've been talking all through can also be applied by anybody from any age bracket above. It doesn't mean it has to be somebody who is either 18 to that 5 only, but it can be anybody who want to just apply it, because just these are real life things. So today I want to talk about 2 attributes, and the first one is self-determination, and then I'll make a mention of something called flexibility, or just being flexible. So when you talk about self-determination, it has to do with the ability to make choice, and to manage your own life. So when you say somebody is self-determined, it means that person has the ability, has the capacity to make decisions regarding their own life without being influenced or without being pushed by anybody else or by external forces to do so. So this is a great quality that every person should possess, and I insist every person, because it enables people to feel that they have control over their lives. And this sense of control is what just makes sense of life, because the moment a person loses control over their life, then it means they start losing it. That's when people start saying, I can't control anything, or they start feeling desperate, start thinking of taking away their lives because they have lost a sense of control. So by being self-determined, it means you are capable of holding your own decisions, owning what you do, and making decisions that impact your life directly without having to wait for anybody else to make them for you. And it is also important to note that self-determination is a cardinal principle in the international law. By cardinal principle, I mean that it is something that is recognized by the international law, from the UN statutes on human rights to all the organizational bodies that governs international law. They recognize that as a right. It is your right to determine or to chart your own future, provided you have attained the legal age of 18 years for our case, or maybe 16 years for some states in the US. So by this, or this is an ability or an attribute that each person should develop for posterity and for progress in life. And self-determination is based on a number of principles, in fact, 3 principles, or their pillar that holds self-determination. For it to work, for it to be effective, it has to be based on 3 pillars. Number 1, it has to be based on freedom. In other words, you have the freedom to choose your thoughts, to choose your decisions, to choose the people you associate with, to choose what to read, to choose what to listen to choose how you live your life, to choose how you dress. Anything that you have to choose, this is based on a fundamental principle that you have a freedom to choose. Now, the second principle that self-determination is based on is the principle of authority, that you should be having or exercising authority over yourself. When you have the ability to self-determine, then it is also expected of you that you're going to exercise control or self-control or authority over what you think, what to take into, what to act upon, and virtually over every decision that you make about your life. And then the third principle that self-determination is based on is the principle of responsibility. Self-determination comes with a sense of responsibility. You have to be responsible over your actions. You have to take responsibility over your decisions, take responsibility of your life, take responsibility of what you take or what you do, take responsibility of your actions, and take responsibility of everything that you do. Virtually, it means being self-determined is you are responsible over not only what happens to your life, but what you do with your life. That's the third principle of self-determination. Now, the next point is it is very important to have this attribute. Why? Because of 2 main reasons. Number 1, self-determination gives you the ability to make better decisions. You make better decisions. When you're self-determined, you make decisions that are aligned towards your future, that are consistent with your behavior, that are consistent with your personality, because you are not making them out of undue pressure, or you're not making them for anybody, or they're not being made for you. You're making them out of a personal sense and from a personal point of view. The second reason why this attribute is quite important to life, or to every person, to their life, is because it gives you independence. You have the ability to make decisions on your own. It gives you that kind of an independence in that you don't have to rely either on your parent, to rely on your superiors if it's in a work situation, to rely on your peers if you're in a class or doing any kind of an event. So it gives you kind of an autonomy in that you can make decisions of your own and start by your own decision. And I think it is also important I mention this because we're speaking to the young people who might not maybe have had experience or there on how do you improve the self-determination, how to build it, because I normally tell people attributes are developed over time. They are not innate, they are not inborn. These are qualities, skills, and attributes that we learn along the way. So you can take a number of steps to improve this attribute of being self-determined. And one step that you can do is that you need to start by believing in yourself. Believe that you have the capacity to be self-determined. And I normally tell people in almost every place I get an opportunity to speak that the change that you desire in life, or the journey to the place that we want to be, it starts with the self-belief. Even if the entire world believes in you, everybody else believes in you, and you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to make it in life. So the first starting point is you have to believe in yourself, believe in your ability, believe in your capacity to make rational decisions, and believe in your dreams, believe in the beauty of your future that you have inside of you. So that's the first point. The second step is you need to have a high sense of self-motivation. In other words, it means you have to cultivate a sense of intrinsic motivation, internal motivation, in that you don't have, if you have to develop this attribute, you should not be waiting for people to push you around. You don't have to wait for your peers. You don't have to wait either for parents or for leaders or for anybody else to motivate you, find something that motivates you internally. And I normally tell people, find something that wakes you up. What's the reason for your existence? Once you're able to find that point, what makes you tick? What makes you click? What makes you wake up every day in the morning? Once you find out that, then you are on your way to developing or strengthening this attribute of self-determination. Then step number three, you have to base your actions or your decisions on your own behaviors and goals. So you have to base the decisions that you make should be based on where you want to be in 10 years time, 5 years time. You know, what are your dreams about life? What's your vision of yourself or the best version of you? What's the vision you have for your life? So you base your decisions on your goals and your behaviors. By behaviors, I mean this. I think somewhere, if I'm not wrong, Enoch mentioned something about personalities. So if you're self-determined or you want to develop this attribute of being self-determined, you have to base your decisions on your personality or on who you are, because personality essentially is who you are at the core. Then the next step, the second last step, is you have to find or build a social support team. You know, I tell people you have to surround yourself with the people who can push you to that point that you want to be. And now for this case, you have to surround yourself with the people who can help you build or develop that character of or that attribute of self-determination. And I want to emphasize this to my viewer or to whoever is viewing us, that the people you associate with a lot determines your success a lot. The people you hang around with determines who you become in life. Somebody said, if you hang around 9 broke people, don't look for the 10th one because you're the one. And of course, the converse is true. You hang around 9 rich people, don't look for the 10th one because you're the one. Even if you're not there, you're on the way going there. So the people you associate with also determines a lot how you build this attribute. And therefore, you should endeavor to associate with the people who are going to strengthen it. And then finally, develop or gain mastery of a certain skill. You know, you become self-determined or you become confident in yourself if you master something. For instance, if in a career, master your career. If in sports, master a certain sport. If whatever you're doing, master just become a master at something, and this will boost your confidence and make you develop this attribute of being self-determined. Now, the second attribute that I want to mention about tonight is flexibility. And when I talk about flexibility, I want just to introduce it in a very simple way. You know, if you watch acrobats or you love acrobatics, you know, you watch those guys do body contortions, you see them fold themselves like don't have any bones. You know, that's physical flexibility. Now, in the same token, there is something called emotional flexibility. And this is an attribute that we need to develop for us to become empowered. So this is the ability to stay in touch or in contact with your current environment, no matter what. You know, the world keeps changing, things are changing. Just a few months ago, you were living a normal life. Corona came, disrupted everything. And the people have not been able to adjust because they are too rigid. And this, just life being the way it is and having to change every now and then, you need to develop the ability or the agility to move, the capacity to change with the changing environment so that you can stay in touch with your reality or your current reality. So flexibility is the ability to adapt to changing circumstances, because life is all about changing targets. Today you are here aiming at this, tomorrow something happens and you have to change, shift your goals, shift your life. And therefore flexibility is all about living life at the moment, of course, without forgetting your vision and the big picture of your life. Now, many people may ask, why is it important to be flexible in life? One, flexibility allows you room to be mentally and emotionally stable, because when you're flexible, you're always prepared for anything that comes your way. In other words, you're not stuck in your past. You're not holding into a dead past. You are ready for change whenever change knocks in, and you are ready to move with whatever the currents that comes your way. Now, secondly, it also enables you to lead a stable and quiet life. You know, there are those people you see even in the midst of the storms. They don't care. It's not that they don't care, but they are so emotionally strong that nothing can take them down. Whatever the waves that comes, you know, they can lose family, they can lose friends. They go through a lot, but they still remain stable because they have developed this attribute of flexibility. They are able to change and adopt to times and to seasons. Now, just to mention, as I come to the end because of time, let me mention a few steps on how to develop this attribute. And the one I will say is mindfulness. By mindfulness, I mean you practice, you make it a practice to sit down, reflect your mind, think about, you know, meditation. That's what I mean in simple terms. Take time to meditate every day. Take some few minutes. Think about your life, where you've come from, where you are, where you want to go, and this will give you a clear picture of how life has been changing over time, and therefore it will help you develop the mental capacity to be flexible. Then number two, you have to build your acceptance levels. In other words, you have to accept life, accept situations, accept that you are not on top of everything, accept that you don't own the situation or the situations, and at least also accept that no matter how good you are, things will always turn upside down at some moment. So accept the realities of life, and this one will help you to remain calm when things doesn't go the way you wanted. Then you also learn something new or develop a habit of learning either a new skill, a new habit, a new thing every day. This will keep your mind on top of everything because you're learning things that are stimulating your mind to move on. Now, finally, or the last step that I want to mention is develop a habit of doing something new every day. When I say something new every day, it doesn't mean you have to do something out of space or something that has never been done. But by this, I mean just you can even do the routine things in a simple way, in a normal way. If it's waking up, you know, if you leave your bed from the left side of the leg, tomorrow you can try to do it from the right. You're used to taking tea, just take coffee tomorrow. You know, change small things because they will give you the sense of uncomfortability that comes with change. And in the process, you will be prepared for flexibility. So those two attributes, self-determination and flexibility or agility, are two key attributes that I believe every youth and in fact every person should develop for a better life. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you so much for that for that detailed discussion on self-acceptance and just being flexible. Yeah, say just try to change some things so that you can try to adapt them. Thank you so much, Samson, for that really informative and transformative discussion that you have given us. I want to bring on Mr. Bernard. Yes, Bernard, we met last Saturday, and I know you had something in store for us. So please just take over, comment something on what Samson was talking about, and then give us other qualities that we need to embrace as youths to be empowered.
Yeah, I know in our previous presentation, we talked a lot about other attributes, and these are continuation. And you will reconnect that most of these attributes are connected. But as we have mentioned, self-determination is actually the step number 3 when you have accomplished the basic attributes. And in my opinion, the basic attribute at this level that ought to be the starting point is self-acceptance. Now, when you talk about self-acceptance in this case, is that how are you aware with your strength and weakness? and your view on making a meaningful personal improvement. This is the starting point because it helps you to plan how do you now move ahead, and of course move to self-esteem and move to self-determination. Perhaps just to understand this concept, Ruth, I'll ask you, I don't know whether you have a pen with a paper with you there. Perhaps I'll ask you, you know, we have two hands, one left and another one right. I'll ask you to write your name 3 times using your dominant hand, the hand that gives you one of the beautiful handwritings. I know you have one. 3 times. You can show us. Beautiful. Is that the left hand or the right hand? Unmute, unmute.
The right hand, the right hand.
The right hand. It looks beautiful.
Yes.
It looks beautiful. Now, can you write also 3 times using your left hand?
Hey, Jesus. Hey, Bernard, you want to finish me? Oh, this one now, how do I write? Guy, hey, my children are laughing at me. I write 3 times or once?
3 times.
Okay, hey, Jesus, this one. Hey. So, are you revenging because I always ask questions, or is it my turn? Oh my goodness! Hey, this show now is becoming something else. Eh? Oh my God, you have seen it. Yeah, that's hard work.
So, if I may ask you, in terms of time and even the result, which one would you prefer? If you
Hey,
were
the one
to,
I'm used to.
yeah, basically,
The one I'm used to.
what can you comment about the two? Using your left handwriting and using your left.
Using my hand, the right hand, I'm so comfortable and I can take the shortest time possible to write. But in my left hand, I'm so uncomfortable and I'm not stable, and I take a lot of time just to write even one letter.
Simply, that is what we mean by acceptance. You are aware that you, out of the two hands, one of the right hand is your strongest. You are able to write with ease, with enjoyment, and you like the results. Yet you have the left hand, which is also part of you, which you are struggling, and you even hate the result of what you have written. In fact, I would not ask you to display the viewers to see, because I'm sure it is not the best of your handwriting. When we discuss the subject of self-acceptance, is to let people know that in any person, in any individual, there exists a weakness and the trait, and of course the strength part of him. And what we need to do as individual or at our youth level is to identify what is your strength, what is your weakness, and be aware. Just the way Ruth is aware, she can be able to write with the right hand very comfortably, but when it comes to left is her biggest weakness when it comes to handwriting. But she shouldn't curse herself for not being able to use the left hand as a weakness. She only have to know that when it comes to writing, the best hand I can be able to use is the right hand. In other words, we must first of all acknowledge that we have undesirable traits, habits before we start the journey of our personal improvement. That is the beginning point. You have to accept that you have made mistake. You will make mistake at some point, and you have flaws, but you do not let them define you. You utilize what is positive for you, what is working for you, which is positive for you, and that is what you should always remember. Whenever you have a failure, you should never say, "I am a failure." When I failed, for example, if in the context of school, because majority of us have gone through the schooling process, sometimes you may, not every time you may pass. But when you fail to pass, in this context, we normally say, you don't say, "I'm a failure" when I failed to pass exam. You say, who worked hard. I'm the one who worked hard and missed to get the higher grades. Simply, passing test is not my strength. Failing does not define you. Failing to pass that exam does not define you as a person who's a failure. As a person who is a failure, it defines you, your strength. Your part of the strength is not in examination, but you have other strengths that you can capitalize on. Sometimes you are beautiful, people love you. You can be able to cook good food. You can be a good chef. So sometimes you don't dwell on that negative that maybe failing was part of. Also, sometimes when of course things are working for you, you are able to act very well. It is not that you are a good person, but you are the person who acted well and accomplished the things. So we have to separate the actions and, of course, what we can't change. And at this juncture, I want to mention that when you are defining failures and strength and weaknesses, sometimes you have to separate what you can be able to change, what you can be able to, do something about it, and what you can change. And in this area, I normally ask people, for example, if you are tall, in terms of tall, are you short or tall? Will you blame yourself to being tall or being short? Can you do something about it? No or yes. The same way you can ask someone if you are fat or thin. Can you do something about it? Can you blame yourself? Yes or no? And sometimes even the color. We have people who want to bleach to become maybe a different color. Is it something that is worth it? Yeah, such things that are the one that help us to know which area can you be able to identify as your weakness or as your strength. And why is it important to identify this? Number one, it defines your happiness. For you to be happy and to have a life that is worth living, you must, first of all, identify which is your best strength and be able to capitalize on it to make things work for you. And of course, it helps you also to identify your area of talent. If Ruth, you took a whole year to work on your left hand to be the best, sometimes it can take even centuries. But if you capitalize on your right hand, you will even make and produce one of the best handwriting in the world if you just perfect it. So strength helps you to perfect what is best for you, and of course reap the benefits that are associated with that. Number two, it also helps you to acquire now the other attributes. And one of the critical attribute is self-esteem. And when you talk about self-esteem, is how do you just accepting being yourself, being an individual that you want to be and doing it as you are. And it is a stage that have to be founded from self-acceptance, having accepted your strength and your weaknesses. Some of the practical stages that you can use to improve your self-acceptance. Number one, you can try to always talk to yourself in a positive way. You have a positive talk. I don't know whether you see people wake up and they talk to themselves just to give themselves a psych. We call it self-cheerleader. You are the fan number one of yourself. No one else can be able to cheer you apart from yourself. And many people make mistake to forget about themselves and think about others before even they start with themselves. You have to cheer yourself before you cheer other people. You need to tell yourself what are you good at. You can sometimes say, okay, if you are a caring person, I'm good caring person, and I deserve to be respected. That is you. I'm capable of achieving success in life. That is a positive mind and drives you in a very positive direction. I'm allowed to make mistakes and learn from them. Those are positive things that you keep on telling yourself, sharing yourself every day, and it has an impact on shaping your mind in a very positive way. Secondly, you can also self-forgive. It's a very technical, but it's important you refrain from judging yourself and, blaming yourself and get rid of the guilt and shame, a shame that you are feeling in most cases. The underlying feeling of shame is usually based on the set of beliefs held that in most cases are not true, taught by parents or friends. There are some things you have been conditioned to believe, which in some cases it is not true. So you have to take a very deliberate steps to tell yourself, to interrogate these things and beliefs that you hold. Some of them really have punished you in life, things that you could have done better, and at least move on. The third one is you focus on the positive. I don't know how many people list down their positive qualities just to know how good they are and how people appreciate them. Some of these qualities are actually gold mines. Someone talked about gold. And because we don't realize, we don't interrogate, we don't realize them, we have never put them in good practice and earn a very good dividends from them. It is usually encouraged to interrogate and appreciate these qualities, engage in pleasurable activities that make you happy, and acknowledge your achievement. This positivity is very, very critical in self-acceptance. You can also challenge yourself in core belief, and whether it's positive or is potentially problematic in your core beliefs, and commit to challenge them, those which are unhealthy and unhelpful. Some beliefs will never take you anywhere. The best way is to get rid of them and ensure that at least you are moving in the positive direction. The last part is self-admiration and love. This one is actually which I love most, because you have to practice seeing yourself through the eye of admiration. Just go before a mirror, look at yourself, look at how lovely God created you, how beautiful you are. And you'll notice positive qualities and action that will give you very positive outcome. And sometime when you train your mind with this positivity, it has a way of translating to a positive personality and accepting you as a very successful people. Without much ado, I'll also caution people or our youth. When we talk about self-acceptance, it doesn't mean that you condone bad behavior or embrace unhealthy, harmful actions that will limit your personal development. You can't engage in tracks and say, okay, that is who I am. I have just to accept, I have to be in tracks. You are destroying yourself. That is not self-acceptance. Self-acceptance has something positive. It has something on improving your quality of life. And if you embrace it, you are likely to succeed. Back to you, Ruth.
Thank you so much for that powerful. We always talk about self-love, self-acceptance, and you have brought it. That illustration is so powerful. I will never forget it. I will never forget it from today. I will always know to accept myself the way I am, and just to work and improve on my weaknesses and dwell on my strength. Susie, welcome.
Yes.
And just comment on what Bernard has talked about. Last Saturday you talked about self-care. Bernard has brought about self-love, and the last point he talked about self-love and something, I don't know, let me see, self-love and self-admiration. Take it over. And then give us another one.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Bernard. That was awesome. It is important we accept ourselves. It is important for us to know our strengths, our weaknesses, and it is important for us to work on our weaknesses so that we can be the best version of who God created us to be. I like the last part where he's cautioned people that when we say self-acceptance, you're not saying that you tolerate nonsense. Let me say nonsense. There are some people, they can learn something, but because they feel like learning or practicing is a pain, then they accept. For instance, we talked about when you are tall or short, there's nothing you can do about it. But when you are overweight, you can do something. Or when you are thin, you can do something about your weight. So there are things you can change. There are things you cannot change. And that's when you realize the border and the difference, that's when improvement comes in. Now, today I'm talking about accountability. And before I delve into what accountability is, I want to share with us, I was reading something online. Akode, I don't know whether we know Akode. Ruth, do you know Akode?
Yes. In fact, I always follow her on social media. She's so funny.
Yeah.
she's real. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's so real.
She was
Yes.
complaining about her businesses and sometimes how it is difficult to entrust people with her businesses because they don't do what is right. And I just realized it's because many people don't like being accountable. Accountability is a virtue that we all need as children of God, as youth. As a wife, I'm accountable to someone. As an employee, I'm accountable to my boss. So accountability is a virtue that we need. So Akode was complaining her businesses because when she leaves them to people, they don't do what she expects. She has losses. And I was just looking around. I like just observing. When you, like, if you're working and you have an M-Pesa, have you ever seen the attitude of the M-Pesa ladies? Mostly when they don't own the shop. Yeah, they'll treat you badly, yet it is that business that is going to give them a salary. So today, let's just learn accountability. What is accountability? This is an obligation, like you're obligated to maybe explain, or it is a state of being accountable. Sorry for using the same word, but just to put it short, accountability is being responsible for something or responsible to someone. As an employee, you are responsible to your organization and to your boss. There's someone in authority. And accountability cuts across all board. Whether if you are a child, you are responsible to your parent, you have to respect them. There are some things you're supposed to do, and you can be answerable to some things. There are questions you'll be asked, there are expectations that you're expected to do, and that's where accountability comes in. Whether you are employed, you are not employed, whether you are married, you have to be accountable. As a Christian, one day I'll be accountable to my God. On the sins of commission or on the sins of omission, I'll be accountable. I'll be asked. On the talent that I was given, the purpose I was created for, when I face my maker, I'll have to be answerable and say, yes, you gave me this talent, and this is how I used it, and maybe this is where the grace was sufficient. So accountability is a virtue that we need to embrace, is a skill that all of us we need to have. And when I talk about accountability, what I mean is there's an expectation somewhere. If you're an employee, for you to be accountable, you must know your role. So where is your role? Where is your boundary? You have to know where is your role. If you're a house girl in someone's house, there's a role you're supposed to do. There are boundaries where you're supposed to reach. So you must know your role. You must know your boundaries, so that when you are being asked some question, you are able to answer them conclusively. Accountability is the act of just being responsible. Don't make excuses. If you are the one entitled to maybe ensuring everyone's clothes are clean and someone's clothes is dirty and you are asked, don't take offense. Just take responsibility. Yeah, we need to take responsibility for our actions. When you are accountable, you take responsibility. You don't give excuses. You don't expect praise. Now, this one goes to people. The other day, I was meeting with the leaders of some prayer group in our church. And I realized when people serve in church, they have a lot of expectation. One of the things they have is they expect to be praised. Please, if you're an accountable person, don't wait to be praised. Because if you wait to be praised, you lose the morale. You do what you're supposed to do, know your boundaries, know your role, and do it the way Colossians says, do it as if you are doing it unto God himself.
God, yes.
When you are accountable, you will keep time. I used to work in Nairobi. And one of the things our boss will not accept is when you come to work late and you say traffic. Traffic is not an excuse to use in Nairobi. We all know Nairobi has traffic, so you leave home early. So if you're accountable, you plan yourself early. And then there are days I would know there will be traffic. For instance, when it is end month and it is Friday, oh my, you have to leave early because everyone who didn't have money and they had parked their car, they will be on the road. Some of them have forgotten how to drive. So there'll be a lot of chaos on the road. So you have to leave early so that you don't give an excuse I was caught up in traffic. Accountability demands you plan yourself early. And I'm on record. I've shared on this show one of the things I used to do. I'm a people pleaser. So I'll take on a lot of job. Everybody, Susie, can you help me with this? I take. Can you help me with this? I take. And then at the end of the day, I'm human. Sometimes you are not able to finish all the roles you've taken up. And this one now will now cause me stress and a lot of relationship strain. So when you're accountable, you know when enough is enough. If I'm doing, let's say, I'm in charge of the library, then someone wants to be helped. If I have time, I will help. If I don't have time, I'll say no politely and not ruin a relationship. Because once you take on a job, you are taking accountability. You are taking responsibility. Like if things go wrong, I am the one who will be answerable. When the year starts, even to you as an individual, we all set our goals. Like this 2020, I know many people set their goals. I don't know the strategic plans. These are things you do just to guide you so that you're accountable. When the year comes to an end, you can look back and say, I achieved A, and why I failed in B is because I did not do this and this and this. So when you're accountable, you make plans. Organization makes strategic plans. Organization come up with a mission, and the mission and vision. This is just to help the employees know that they're accountable. They'll be answerable in the way they conduct themselves and in the way they do their duties. So when you are one person is accountable, you have to know what is the organization mission and vision. Once you buy into that, when you're setting up your strategic plan, you're just trying to buy the vision and mission and making it better in your role so that you achieve. So in accountability, you set goals, you plan, you make sure in your plans, you make smart plans because you'll be answerable to someone, you'll be answerable to God himself. As a wife, I am responsible to someone. I am responsible to my husband. I'm responsible to my children. There are things they can only come and ask me. And if I don't do them, I'm the one to explain. And there are things we expect our Father to do for us because he's the one responsible for us. And he has to account for it. So accountability have to explain. And that shit happens. I'm sorry to use that word, but shit happens. When it does happen, you explain, you own. For instance, if I fail to do something, I own the mistake. I don't just throw excuses and say, oh, it was so and so, it was because of this and this. If accountability is one of the qualities I have, I will own it and maybe learn from it. I'm seeing Enoch on the screen. It means my time is up.
Yeah.
He's high governor.
I have already gotten your point, and somebody said if you blame someone, you are a failure when you blame someone for something. Yeah. So
Yes.
I saw Bernard saying when you go to their work late, the boss will tell you it is not traffic. You overslept. So I want Enoch to come over and just take over from what Susie was talking about accountability and bring in another point that these youth need. And especially the youth, every time you ask a youth about something, they always have an excuse. They already have an excuse. They already planned what they will answer if somebody asks them why they have not done this. Enoch, take
it is very true. Thank you so much, Ruth. It is very true what Ruth was talking about, accountability. Accountability is very important. Many people, not just the youths, but many people fail in the test of accountability simply because they are afraid to be blamed. Taking blame is not a bad thing. It is okay not to be okay. We are human beings. We have strengths, like my friend Bernard was talking about. We have strengths and we also have weaknesses. At one time or another, we are bound to make a mistake. It is good to take responsibility. And it is also good to know what you're supposed to be doing, the way Susie was mentioning. Just before I talk about what I need to, I felt that it is important to just highlight something that I had from Bernard when he was talking about guilt and shame. Guilt and shame, although they are somehow related in a way, somebody once said that one comes before the other. But the truth is that guilt and shame are very different. Different in the sense that the kind of provocation that one gets.
Enoch, excuse kidogo. There is some noise in your background. There is some noise in your background. Please tell them to to excuse a bit. Okay, that's okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Guilt and shame are different in the sense that they give you different motivations. Guilt, when you do something wrong and you become accountable because you have felt guilty, you will be motivated not to repeat again. So guilt is a good thing because it provokes you to do what is right. But shame, on the other hand, is a negative feeling, because shame encourages somebody to hide so that they cannot be blamed, and so they run away from taking responsibility. And because of that, many times you find people are doing something that is not right, and then they hide it. They don't want to talk about it because they feel ashamed about it. Now, if you can only feel ashamed and you don't feel guilty, then you're not being a positive human being. To be positive means that I was ashamed. Shame is a very bad thing. I am, because of the guilt, that I am responsible for something that went wrong. And because of that, I don't want to be ashamed again. I don't want to get the guilty feeling again, so I will not do it again. You work hard on ensuring that you rectify your behavior so that you avoid falling into a situation or a position where you find yourself to be guilty or ashamed. So that is the difference I wanted to draw, just to draw the line, that it is good to feel guilty, because guilt helps you to stop doing what you're doing and start doing it in the right way. But shame many times has led so many people to hide. I think you can remember, you read the scripture, you will see so many things that people did because of shame. Our first parents, Adam and Eve, what did they do? Because of shame, they hid themselves and they lied. They lied. When Adam was asked by God, have you eaten the fruit which I told you not to? He said, first when God was calling him, God calls him, Adam, Adam, where are you? And instead of him saying where he was, actually he gave 4 answers, which were not answering the question. And this is because he was ashamed. He said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I felt ashamed, and I hid myself. Now,
that is what people do. When you ask them a question, instead of answering, they give you so many stories.
Yeah, I think I should just remind my friend Mungathia about this power of speech, that human beings were given speech to use it to express themselves. But many times human beings have used speech to hide their feelings rather than to express exactly what the situation is. And this is a negative impulse that many people have. I don't want to take so much time. I just wanted to highlight that guilt will help you to change, but shame will help you to hide, and in the process of hiding, you can find yourself doing even more harm simply because you're hiding, because now you're bringing lies to a situation that would have been solved if you just took responsibility and said, well, I made a mistake and I'm sorry. I want to talk about today something called integrity, just in line with what my colleagues have been mentioning. Finally, Susie was talking about accountability, and accountability requires integrity. Integrity can be defined in 2 ways. One, integrity is the ability to do what is right when no human is watching. I'm saying this deliberately. It is the ability to do what is right when no human is watching. I say this because many people think that integrity is doing what is right when no one is watching. Hello, someone is always watching. If you look up, someone is always watching. Ask Joseph when he was in the house of Potiphar. Someone was always watching, and he knew it. It is not that doing what is right when no one is watching, rather when no human is watching. That is the first definition I want to give. But it is also the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. That is integrity. It is the quality of being honest, just being truthful, just speaking what is right, and having strong moral principles that spur you as an individual to do what is right. Now, why is integrity important? Integrity is important because it is required in all areas of our lives. We see, for example, even in leadership, integrity is required because it demands honesty and truthfulness in the execution of one's duties and mandate. It requires honesty, that you will do your job. That is why they even take an oath when they are coming into office. It is so tough. I'm sorry about that. It is so tough when you see that somebody is taking an oath that they want to do what is right, but then they end up not doing what is right. It is purely because they are failing in their test of integrity. Integrity requires that they are honest, that they do what is acceptable. Now,
someone really wants to talk to you. Okay.
Yes, I can see that. I can see that. Let me see if they can hang on for a while, because it's a call that is coming from far. It's a call that's coming from Europe. It's coming from Europe, but it's okay. I'll call them later because this is also important. I was saying that integrity is required in leadership. Integrity is important in personality association. People need, as a personality that you have cultivated, the kind of individual that you want people to look at you and refer to you as. That person, if that person is associated with integrity, then you are a good person. People will know that. People will give you what King Solomon is saying, that a good name is better than silver and gold, because this person has truthfulness. This person has honesty in the way that they carry themselves, in how they talk, and in how they carry out their duties. It is very important that that you associate your personality with integrity. It is also important in business. Susie was mentioning how she was doing business and how she was making money, macho. Integrity in business is so important, because without integrity, if you are doing your business, you can run your business down simply because you're not exercising integrity. Integrity is important at work. When you're given work, I'm happy that Susie was also mentioning that you need to be accountable. Yes, you need to be accountable, but most people, when you look at most employers, when they are giving out vacancies and asking people to come and apply to fill in those vacancies, there is always a line that comes in somewhere there, as a requirement of what is expected of you, the applicant. And one of them is able to work under minimal supervision. This refers to integrity. Many people want work to do, but once they're given work to do, they just want to hang their jackets on the chairs, read the paper, pass time. I used to see this. Especially in my very first years. Immediately when I came from university, I went to work at Kenyatta National Hospital, and I felt so sad. I felt so sad that people are coming to work. First, they come late, and then they hang their jackets on the chairs. They check newspapers and they read, and you have benches full of patients who are waiting to be attended to. I used to feel so sad. And I was at a department that is referred to as Patient Support Center. Our work was, looking at how do we give psychological reviews to all these patients who require those kinds of reviews. People who are going for surgeries, people who had tested positive for terminal illnesses like HIV, like cancer, and other forms of terminal illnesses like diabetes. They require psychological reviews and psychological assistance. They are lining up on the benches, and people are taking tea, reading newspapers, and chatting and high-fiving each other. And this is not right, because at the end of the day, you have been paid to do that work, and you are supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be doing at the time when you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. And integrity means that you do what is right even at the right time. It is okay for you to have tea. It is okay for you to read a paper.
Just to highlight on that also,
Yes.
I went for attachment in a very big institution, KPA in Mombasa.
Yes.
And what people used to do is you go there. There is this thing called overtime.
Yes.
So people only work during overtime. So you will find they have overtime in the morning. So somebody will be in the office by 6, because they know when they work from 6 to 8, that is some extra money. So you find that at the time you are coming to the office, like at 8. Now you are a student, you are supposed to learn. There is nobody in the office. All of them, they have left their offices, they have gone, and then they will come back at 5. There is another overtime. So they come back at 5. They have not worked the whole day. They are from 8 to 5, they are not at work. But they come back at 5 because there is some extra money called overtime.
Yeah.
You're just talking about that. I noticed that.
You remembered, yes.
I remember.
Yeah, it is true. When people are saying that there is a lot of corruption in the country, these are some of the things I look at. If you are an employee, you have been employed or hired to work between 8 to 5, and between 8 to 5, there is something you're doing. Maybe you're busy checking the internet with your phone, or maybe you're reading the paper during working hours. That is corruption. You're stealing from your boss. You're not practicing integrity. That is not correct. Even in the eyes of God, God sees that. And if we are to exercise integrity, I believe that integrity will increase our productivity at work, because we are putting in the energy that is required into the work that has been given during the working hours that are there. So if working for 8 hours, for example, I was mentioning something like dealing with waste and producing energy. This is an hour by hour kind of work. If you are working within 1 hour, you're supposed to be producing this number of kilowatts per hour. If you don't do that, then it means that you're reducing the number of kilowatts, and that means that you're reducing the amount of money that you're supposed to be earning. And so it is an integral issue, if I may use a different version of the word integrity. It's an integral issue to practice integrity because it helps you at work, and it improves your reliability and dependability. If your boss knows that you are someone who practices integrity, you will even rise through the ranks so easily, purely because you are responsible, you are accountable, and you practice integrity. Another area that is good for us to have integrity is even in relationships. Many relationships, all kinds of relationships, whether they are, let me start above. Your spiritual relationship with your God, how you relate with God, requires integrity. It is a deal. A relationship is a deal you enter with another party, and you have to play your part of the bargain. And in playing your part of the bargain means that you must exercise high integrity, especially when as Christians, we are called upon to exercise very high standards of integrity. I am glad that Susie even mentioned Colossians. I don't know whether she knew that where it comes from. It's actually Colossians 3:23, which says that do everything, and whatsoever you do it as unto the Lord. If you are that kind of a person who is doing everything as unto the Lord, that kind of a person who is not doing something when they are looking to the right or to the left, in front of them or behind them. But if you are the kind of person who always looks above you, then you will know that by exercising integrity, your relationship with your God improves. You become more intimate with your God because you are always aware of his presence, and you're doing everything, for his glory and for the lifting of his name, because you know he's always there. You're always pushed to do what is right. As somebody says, that being spirit-led, if you're being led by the Spirit, then you are aware that God is the, and is omnipotent, and he is omnipresent. He is everywhere. You cannot hide anywhere from him, and because of that, you will do what you're supposed to be doing, and you will do it right, because my God is always watching. It is important. Yeah. It is also important in family relationships, whether it is between whether it is a parent to children, or children to parents, or whether it's between siblings, or whether it is between spouses. Integrity is very, very important, because if someone in the family knows that so and so is reliable, you will see that they will get more responsibility, because they know how to carry themselves, and they know how to behave. So they will be given those responsibilities, not because they are elderly or maybe because they are just favored. No, but it is because they have integrity. And even in romantic relationships, it is important, especially when, in romantic relationships, we always say that if there is no integrity, some people say that trust, but you can trust someone who has integrity. If someone does not have integrity, then you are sure that they will not be faithful to you, and so you cannot trust them. Maybe you can just get stuck there in that relationship, but you know that this person is not trustworthy. So if you are practicing high levels of integrity, somebody trusts you. Regardless of whether you are with them or whether you are away, whether you are with somebody else, they know that this is the kind of man I have, this is the kind of woman I have in my relationship, and I know what they are able to do. I know where they draw the line. I know how far they can go, and I know what they can't do. And that is very, very important in a relationship. It boosts your confidence. And there are certain ways that you can that you can always manage to improve your own levels of integrity. I just want to mention a few. Number one is keep promises. By being someone, make a promise and keep it. You're practicing integrity. Any person who does not keep their promise does not exercise integrity. So keeping promises is a sign that this is someone that I can trust. And the number two thing is never betray a trust. When somebody trusts you, never betray that trust. One person told me when I was growing up, this is my late father, he told me, never trust someone who lies to you, and never lie to someone who trusts you.
Very important.
Very, very important. If I give, let me use your example. If I give you 10,000 bob, I tell you, go to Bernard. He is a banker. He knows my account number. Give this to him. I don't have time, and tell him to bank it for me. And then later on, I receive a phone call from Ben, and Ben is telling me that, oh, I received your 7,500. I'll be like, aha. 2,500 went missing along the way. Next time, if I have 100,000 bob, I will not give it to you, because I know not all of it will make it to the end point. You know, you're not practicing. You're not being honest. You know, you're betraying trust.
And you know, Enoch, that is what happened, especially to the youths.
Yes.
Some youths, they are given full school fees, but that is not what reaches in the campus.
Exactly. In fact, it is so bad. It is so bad when you see how youth of today do not know how to be honest, how to be faithful. You know, even just being sent to the shop. You send somebody with 1,000 bob to the shop to go and buy an item that you know is 625, and then they're coming back and they're giving you 250, and they're telling you, you know, they're not even telling you what happened. This is your change, and they disappear. Yeah, you just know that I cannot trust this individual, you know, and being honest, exercising integrity calls upon someone not to betray trust. If you have been entrusted with any responsibility or with any duty, just make sure that you do your job without a blame. Do not go against your trust. Another thing is that you need to pay for everything that you want. Some of us, maybe you go to a shop, you buy something, whatever you are buying is worth, maybe it's worth 50 shillings. You're giving the shopkeeper 200 bob, and in giving you change, they are giving you 200, and you know, let me say you give them 100 bob, and then they give you change. They give you change for 500 shillings, and you gladly take that money and put it in your pocket and say, this person is a fool. They don't even know how much I gave them. No, they are not fools. You are the biggest fool, because you are a thief and you do not exercise integrity. Take what is genuinely yours. By exercising that, you are showing that you are a trustworthy person. And if anything has been given to you, yes.
Yes. Also, matatus, you go in and, by the way, you know, sometimes even matatu people, they can make you do that, because when you give a tout your money, they don't, maybe you forget the change, they will go with it. So if a matatu also forgets to ask me for fare, I won't pay.
And that is what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that you need to pay for everything you want. When you are alighting from that matatu, just ask that tout to come near you and tell them, hey, you never asked me for my money, man. This is my money. And, you know, they will look at you, and believe me, something that I'm about to mention here later is coming. They'll look at you, they'll take that money, and they'll be so shocked. What kind of a person is this? But it is purely because you're exercising integrity, that you are choosing to be a different kind of a human being. You want to do what is right. You want what is yours and what is right. If it does not belong to you, you don't want it. That is integrity. And then another thing is that do not gossip or engage in negative talk about someone. Someone, especially someone who is not present. Yes, let me do that. Don't gossip or engage in talking badly about someone. If you need to talk about someone, talk positively about someone. If it is negative talk, do not engage in that. And then remain faithful to your partner, to your spouse, and to your lover. Do not cheat on your spouse. This is integrity. And take responsibility for all your faults and for all your wrongs, and ignore ill advice. The importance of this, the benefits that you will get, number one, is that you will be living a life that is godly, a life that is upright, a life that is righteous, and a life that is blameless. We are called upon as Christians to uphold righteousness, to live a life that is blameless in this generation. And integrity eliminates fear. When you're exercising integrity, you have no fear when you're dealing with people. When you're walking along the street, if you hear people are shouting behind, maybe they're chasing someone, you know that that is not me, because you have not done anything wrong. So you walk confidently with your head held up high, you walk majestically, and you are enjoying peace. Another thing is that it boosts your confidence when you exercise integrity. And finally, your quality of life will improve and you will be a happy person. When you're a happy person, let me finish by this. When you're a happy person, you live longer. Thank you so much, Ruth. Sorry I took longer than what was necessary, but I thought that those points were necessary to reach out there.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much, viewers, for staying put up to now. We are so grateful. We were learning about personal empowerment attributes. As we say, this is part 4, part 3. So please go back, watch part 1 and 2 so that you can learn more. So thank you so much for watching. And I just want to pray for you. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for our viewers. We ask that, Lord, whatever qualities we have talked about tonight, let them embrace it and let it change their lives in the mighty name of Jesus. So let's meet next Saturday, same time on this platform. Please follow us if you're watching on Facebook. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and click the bell. God bless you. Let's meet next Saturday.